jab for the double jab. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's good, it's good, good. It's good. Keep that head moving. That's it. And time. Shake it off.
I feel like I've been someone that's had something to prove from a teenager. I think more than one person told me that I wouldn't last a week in training when I sort of joined the army. So ever since then, my sort of path has been all about proving people wrong. I joined the 1st Battalion Grenadier Guards when I was 18, back in 2003. Worked my way up the rank structure. In 2011 we were training to go back out to Afghanistan, and it was during a live firing platoon attack range that I was one side of a wooden wall and the lad was the other side of the wooden wall, and I was shot several times through the wall. The rounds hit my femoral artery in my right leg and my right shoulder. When I sort of came round, I was told pretty much straight away that we have to amputate your leg sort of today or you won't see the day out. At first I wouldn't sort of sign the consent forms for the operation because they said it would be above knee. And then, yeah, after being given a bit of a pep talk, I had the amputation. Obviously I grew up playing football from the age of sort of 7 right the way up until I'd lost my leg, and I always sort of said how much I missed football. And then, yeah, within 6 months of just sort of playing local football, I'd joined Peterborough United amputees at the start of 2019. We train as a team on a Tuesday evening in Cambridge, and then I do a lot of my own training, sort of individual sessions and stuff, and I do like that sort of the fresh air, the peace and quiet, and I've got a football with me, so I've always, ever since I was a little boy, loved having a football at my feet, and that's never really gone away. When I'm down sort of training on my own, I tie that in with going on crutch runs. So one thing I missed on a prosthetic leg was being able to move quick enough to get that cold burning feeling on your lungs in the morning, and I could never walk quick enough to get out of breath. Going out on crutches and using it as sort of cardio, it gives me that feeling. In amputee football, the England Amputee Football Association is actually a registered charity, so a lot of our sort of funding to be able to go to World Cups, European Championships, all comes from the registered charity. So every player is expected to raise a minimum of £750. With you having your left leg on the right hand side, as soon as he cuts in, you're playing onto your stronger side. I've never been one to just ask for handouts and generosity. I always feel like if I'm going to fundraise, I need to earn it, and I've wanted to sort of box ever since I lost my leg. It's the last little thing I really want to tick off. If people are going to part with their money, like I want to have earned that donation, and there didn't really seem like a bigger challenge or or a better way to earn it than trying to avoid being punched in the face for 3 rounds, I suppose. Being an above knee amputee and the weight that I was when I initially sort of started training for it, I realised quite early on through sparring the big difference between boxing an above knee and boxing a below knee. So I was very keen to, if possible, get in the ring with another above knee. I got put in touch with Brad, obviously my opponent on the night. He was an above knee, he'd been training for a year or so, was similar to me, was looking for an opponent, and then it was a case of trying to find somewhere that would have us. Through a friend of mine, he contacted me and he said, look, this show in Sleaford would love to have you on. So I contacted Brad, the date worked for both of us, the venue worked for both of us, so it was like, right, we've both got a date to train for now. And then it all felt very, very real.
The best bit about sparring is not necessarily being hit, but it builds a confidence up in the legs to know I can get hit.
The lad I've been training with, Mike, he is solely the reason why I wanted to box.
I say double jab, triple jab, really good. Jab hook,
Yeah.
worked well, skinned my head guard, thank.
I'd followed everything he'd been doing the last few years. That's what sort of lit that fire to want to box, was seeing everything Mike had done in the ring.
The guy could quite easily do crowdfunding on social media and get the money that way, but true Mark fashion, you know, he wants to get in there and do something that's probably very challenging, and that's getting punched in the face. And he come to me, he was like, I want you to teach me to box, and it was amazing. I was like, I've never actually trained anyone for a fight before. Mark's main challenge with boxing, he's left-handed naturally, but he had to straight away switch stance to a right-hand fighter, orthodox, rather than being a southpaw. But to switch stance in boxing and have your lead hand as your power hand is a whole different world, you know. And the fact that he's only got about 6 inches of his thigh is huge. You know, as a boxer, you're kind of ducking, you're moving, you're bobbing, you're weaving, your head's moving all the time. So there's a lot of things we have to take into account there.
I knew that if I wanted to box, it had to be with Mike. His understanding of obviously your limitations, and it's been a privilege to sort of learn from him. You know, more than anyone really. On the night, it's him that I want to do proud, because ultimately everything that I showcase on the night is what he's taught me. I've always put this pressure on myself to make things public, because then I like to sort of think of myself as sort of keeping to my word, and if I've put something public, I have to see it through. Boxing is probably the first individual thing I've done that isn't to prove it to other people. It's something to prove to myself that I can do it. I think having 2 boys, I've always felt like I need to sort of lead by example. I expect and ask of them to sort of try their hardest when they're on the football pitch, when they're in the swimming pool, when they're kickboxing. Like, I always think it would be a bit contradictory of me to sit on the sofa, eat takeaways and be lazy and expect them to work hard. So I always feel like I can never ask anybody to do anything that I'm not willing to put myself through. So for me, it's more just about when the boys are older, will they have sort of adopted some of that work ethic that I've had? As long as I've passed something positive onto my children and that I make them proud, then that's enough for me.
Seeing Mark's journey and what he's achieved is inspirational. He's done more than most able-bodied guys will ever do in their life. I mean, the guy can run faster on a pair of crutches than most able-bodied people can run. You know, everything he does is 100%, and that's why when he asked me, I knew that he wouldn't die after a couple of weeks when it got hard or inspiring. He took a shot. He wouldn't be like, nah, this isn't for me anymore.
The more I've got into training, the more I've enjoyed Mike's company, the more I've got over those initial nerves of sparring. I think if I don't do it again, I'll miss it. It's sort of lit something in me now. And I want people to sit there, watch it and go, like that bloke can box. And if I get that out of the fight, then I think that itch will be there that needs scratching again and I end up doing it again.